I really hope this isn't focused right now because I'm gonna be mad. I would just like to start off this video by saying that I forgot my tripod. So I have my camera balanced on top of a giant Chipotle box on top of a table. So if it just falls at some point, you just gotta roll with it, okay? Great. Hey fam, what's up? I'm back today with just some more good times, you know? I made this video because I feel like all I ever see people talking about online, and this is not all I see, I'm just being dramatic, but I'm constantly seeing people like on Twitter saying like, oh, what's a good Netflix recommendation, or what should I watch? And I'm constantly replying to these people, sometimes complete strangers, but I don't even know who they are, because I want to push my own shows on them. So I decided to make a video, and I'm just gonna start like copying and pasting the link and be like, look man, if you want to hear some good shows, watch the video. These are Netflix originals. These are not just shows that are on Netflix, because sometimes shows are on and then they get taken off, or they're not always available. So I feel like this list will stay true throughout all the decades, because Netflix isn't going to get rid of its own shows. No, I have not watched every show on Netflix. I don't have that kind of time. Top 10 Netflix shows that I have watched that are good. Number 10, Russian Doll. I feel like it would be higher up on my list if there was more seasons. The only reason it's at number 10 is just because there's only one season. I love this show. I literally binged it like within 3 days, which is like saying a lot for me, because I usually take like a couple of weeks to watch a whole season of a show. If you're a big fan of Happy Death Day, it's basically the same premise, or I guess if you're a fan of Groundhog Day. Russian Doll is about this woman. It's her birthday. She basically dies at the end of it, and she has to keep reliving it until she learns a certain something. I'm not going to give it away for those of you who haven't watched the show. It just feels original for an idea that really isn't. It's amazing. Watch it. Number 9, also another show that I only have on the lower part of this list because there's only one season, which is only made up of like 5 episodes, I think. When They See Us. And I'm sure almost everyone has watched this show, because when it came out, that's all everyone talked about. It's just phenomenal. It's heartbreaking. Older kids, young teens, boys, all African American except for one who, I'm not sure if he's African American and Hispanic or if he's just Hispanic. They get wrongly convicted for a crime that they didn't do. After being convicted, it's not so much about like the consequences to, you know, following your actions, but it's more so the aftermath of how people stereotype, you know, a criminal when they aren't actually criminals, and so it just makes it worse. It's based on a true story. One of my favorite things about this show was the soundtrack, like the original score that was composed for the show. The composer has yet to release it, but that's just like one of my favorite smaller pieces of the entire show. Number 8, Santa Clarita Diet, starring Drew Barrymore. I literally watched season 1, I think in one day. A lot of people don't like it, and I've recommended it to a lot of people, and everyone always says like, oh, I started watching that and then I just like couldn't get back into it. That Drew Barrymore is a realtor, and somehow she becomes a zombie, but like not a zombie where she's like, ugh, a working functional human being who just has to like eat flesh to survive. If you're a fan of dark comedy like I am, I think that this is a great show. Anyone who knows me knows that like Jennifer's Body is one of my favorite films to ever exist, and Santa Clarita Diet gives me Jennifer's Body vibes without like the moodiness, because it's more lighthearted and funny. Drew Barrymore is just amazing in like everything that she does, so like, duh. So they just canceled it. I don't want to get into that, because like, number 7, now this is kind of like a cheat, that's why it's like lower on the list. There's only one season of the show. The show is called You, and the first season wasn't actually a Netflix season show, but Netflix bought the show, I guess because there were so many fans, which like I totally understand, because it was like on Lifetime or something, and now they're producing season 2, which I believe is being released in January or something. Season 1 is about this girl and this guy, and they like have an encounter, and he basically becomes like obsessed with this girl, and then she has like another boyfriend, and then she has like this crazy like obsessive friend, And so it's all about this guy wanting to be closer to this girl who's like, other people are telling her that he's bad for her. Again, this is another show that anytime I recommend it, people are like, oh, I didn't really like that. And I'm like, do you have taste? I say give it a watch if you have nothing else to do. Yeah, do it. Number 6, Jessica Jones. I love this show so freaking much. Also another show that just got canceled after its 3rd season. I'm like, I've had it to here with Netflix. I'm up here and I'm done. Unsubscribe, cancel my subscription, sign out, log off, delete, deactivate, I'm done. Jessica Jones has 3 seasons out, so moody, also has hints of humor. It's kind of like a mystery show. I don't know, she's a private detective, but she has superpowers that she got. Also, Kristen Ritter plays Jessica Jones, the lead, and I love her so much. One of my other favorite shows is Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. Not a Netflix show, but just like, oh my god, I love that show so much. And it was canceled also, I believe, after 3 seasons. I'm just not happy. The number 3 is just like out to get me. She's so funny in that show, and then she's so serious and like weird in Jessica Jones. I love her acting range. It's ridiculous. And if you like superhero movies and stuff like that, it's definitely a show that I recommend. Number 5, my first Netflix original show that I ever watched and I was obsessed with, canceled after 3 seasons, I think. I'm done. Hemlock Grove, I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd Netflix original show to ever exist, the first 2 being House of Cards and Orange is the New Black. If you like werewolves and vampires, this is the show for you. It's very like dark and gritty and like kind of weird. I think this is just back when Netflix was really just kind of getting the ball rolling with being the juggernaut that they are these days. So the show just like didn't take off as well as Orange is the New Black and House of Cards. One of the lead stars is Bill Skarsgård, which if you're a fan of the new Stephen King's It, he plays Pennywise. He plays just as weird of a character as Pennywise on that show, so if you like him as an actor, I'd definitely say check it out. Also, his mother is played by Famke Janssen, who's like one of my favorite actresses like ever. She played Jean Grey in the X-Men films, and like, if you know me in real life, like that is everything to me. So basically the show just has all of my favorite things. I'm also like a sucker for anything vampire related. Number 4, and this one probably, this was a hard one when I was placing it on the list because I really love this show. It's The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. If any of you watched the Sabrina the Teenage Witch show growing up like me, you were probably obsessed with it. Like me, this is like a different version of the Sabrina tales. But I'm also a sucker not only for vampire stuff, but like stuff that has to do with witches, but like not in like a freaky way. Like I'm not getting too freaky deaky into it. American Horror Story Coven was my favorite season. Cue everyone in the comments attacking me and saying Asylum and Murder House were better, which like, yes, they're both amazing, but like don't at me. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is kind of like a Coven, but like more lighthearted and like family friendly-ish, because they do some weird stuff on the show, if you ask me. It also touches on a lot of real world issues at the same time as like this supernatural like sci-fi side. So that's pretty cool too. I like when shows can incorporate, you know, issues that teenagers are going through in the real world, also on top of I'm a witch or something, or a werewolf and I'm going through weird other things. But number 3 is easily Stranger Things. Now some of you are probably sitting back and thinking, Stranger Things, that should be number 1 or 2. I don't know, maybe. Maybe you guys hate the show. I love this show. I've loved it since the first season. When the first season came out, it was so hard not to watch it all in like one sitting. But I just feel like every season it gets dramatically better. And usually what I hate with TV shows is like after a season is made, the next season they feel the need to like add in a new character or two because like we need to spice it up. And I hate that. I'm like, no, I watch it because of these people. You know, I only watch it for them. I think that this show has a really brilliant way of incorporating new characters and giving them enough story and enough background and enough of an individual character to really appreciate them. Now, before we get into the final 2 spots, I'm gonna do some honorable mentions and some other shows on Netflix that I also liked or enjoyed, but like not enough to put in this list. I'm gonna start off by saying that for some reason I watched Fuller House seasons like 1 through 3 or whatever they're on. I don't know why. I don't know why it captivated me the way that it did. It's so cheesy and corny. I loved Full House growing up, duh, but like Fuller House just like, I would like sit there and be like, ugh, I guess I'll watch this. And then like 5 episodes later, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, really, Uncle Jesse? Well, next episode. Anyways, it's getting canceled after this next season, or maybe the season already came out, or whatever. I blame Aunt Becky. Like, what was that girl doing? Hot mess. Another show I'm going to mention that everybody hates is Insatiable. There's only one season. I'm pretty sure they just wrapped filming on season 2, or they're like just about to. I thought it was going to be terrible. I thought it was going to be corny and cheesy, which like it kind of is at certain times. That first season takes you on a like roller coaster of like what is going on? Who wrote this? Like, why did they write this? If you're a fan of dark comedy, you know, Russian Doll, Jennifer's Body, Happy Death Day, then this is also another show that like kind of has that same vibe. And then my last honorable mention is just going to be The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. For some reason, season 1, I like watched the whole thing in like 4 days because I just thought it was so funny and like amazing, and it's just like such a weird storyline. Final 2 spots. Number 2 is The Haunting of Hill House, which technically I think the show is just called The Haunting. Like the Netflix show is now being called like The Haunting because every season's gonna be of something something. So like this last season, the first season was of Hill House. The next one I think is of Blythe Manor or Bly Manor, something like that. I absolutely love this show as someone who is such a fan of horror and like things that are scary. This show was brilliant. It was beautiful to watch. Like everything was great. Just the way that the stories incorporated and like came back full circle. There's that one episode, I think it's like episode 5 or 6 or something. There's a funeral involved. I don't want to give anything away, but like the first like 15 to 20 minutes of that episode are filmed in just one shot, and like it's just so freaking beautiful and brilliant. Whoever thought of that and was able to accomplish it, meaning the whole crew, the director, the actors, everyone being able to pull it off in like one shot for like the length of time that they did was like, oh my god, I loved it. It's so good. But the whole show is just like a masterpiece. If you haven't watched it, you are missing out. I don't care if you're a scaredy cat and you don't like scary things, you need to go watch this show, or you don't ever talk to me ever again. Number 1, which is probably gonna be super weird to all of you guys, but it would have to be Grace and Frankie. If you know me, I love horror and I love comedy. Like those are my 2 favorite genres of TV and movies. And my number 2 spot was my favorite horror on Netflix, and my number 1 spot is my favorite comedy on Netflix, which is Grace and Frankie. It's about these 2 old ladies played by Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin who are brilliant together. The chemistry is just so real. They're obviously real friends. They also did a movie way back in the day called 9 to 5 together with Dolly Parton, which like, duh, go watch that. But it's just one of the funniest shows I've ever watched where they do not try to be funny. Like it's just like every line these characters deliver is just outrageous enough to make me laugh, or like just so like perfectly placed. It is the only show on Netflix that I like have to stop myself from watching too much. Like I literally have to like tell myself after like 4 episodes in a row, like you're gonna run out of episodes today and you're gonna be mad. And I'm like really nervous that it's gonna like get canceled or something, because I never hear people talking about it or like saying that they watched it. But like it's already on 3 seasons, so obviously someone's watching it somewhere. But I'm here to tell all of you, if you have not watched it, please go watch at least the first 4 episodes of season 1. And if you do not get into it after that, then I don't know what's wrong with you, but seek professional help. That is my top 10 favorite Netflix original shows, with a few strangely honorable mention others. I just really felt like I needed to make this. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch it. Here we are. If you are watching it, I guess it's just you and me having a conversation because no one else is here. Let me know if you watch any of these after I recommend them, and if you like them, or if you have watched them, let me know where you would rank them in your top 10, or if they'd even be in your top 10. And also leave me your recommendations for shows that I should watch on Netflix, because I haven't watched them all and there's just so many now that I don't know which ones to watch first. Also, one last thing, I know I'm just telling you guys to like fill up the comments, but I know none of you are gonna do it, so I'm just gonna keep going. Also, let me know in the comments if like you want me to do another one of these, but of just TV shows in general, because there's a ton of TV shows that I've watched from like episode 1 to the finale of the series that I would totally rank and put in order and tell you guys to watch, but they're not Netflix shows. So this would just be like, you gotta fend for yourself and find them somewhere shows.